Overnight, markets and diplomacy stayed tightly linked as attention focused on the Middle East and what it could mean for energy prices and global growth. Oil prices slid on hopes of progress in U.S.-Iran talks, with reporting pointing to intensified negotiations and Iranian officials traveling to Qatar, but expectations remain volatile. The U.S. president has told negotiators not to rush, and Iran has publicly played down the idea that a deal is imminent. Shipping through the Strait of Hormuz remains a live barometer of risk, with reports of LNG tankers continuing to transit the waterway. On global conflict, Russia has threatened further strikes on Kiev and warned foreign nationals to leave, following one of the largest aerial assaults on the Ukrainian capital. In Gaza, Australians returning from a Gaza-bound aid flotilla allege abuse by Israeli authorities. Israel denies the claims and says detainees were held in accordance with the law. Separately, U.S. domestic security is in focus after court records detailed prior interactions between the White House shooting suspect and the Secret Service. On the technological revolution, the big theme remains the race to scale climate and industrial technologies. Internationally, major energy players are still betting on carbon capture, with debate continuing over whether it can be deployed at the size and speed claimed, and at what social license cost. In the background, the AI and space economy narrative continues to build, with renewed attention on the commercialization of space and the financing ambitions around it, underscoring how capital is chasing frontier technology even as geopolitical risk stays elevated. Turning to Australia, the government is pressing ahead with capital gains tax changes, rejecting calls for a pause while consulting on limited carve-outs. The policy debate is landing amid clear signs of housing market weakness. Reporting points to rate hikes and tax settings breaking the back of the latest property boom, with early indicators of a correction and a shift away from vendor power. In politics and integrity, the head of the National Anti-Corruption Commission, Paul Brereton, has resigned 2 years before the end of his term. The resignation comes amid an ongoing investigation by the NAC inspector and just ahead of a scheduled appearance at Senate estimates, adding pressure to the government's integrity agenda and raising questions about stability at the top of the commission. On the public service and workplace policy, submissions to a federal inquiry warn that a proposed Fair Work amendment focused on a right to work from home may be too narrow, arguing flexible work is broader than location and that a narrow framing could create discrimination risks. In the resources and energy sector, leaked documents reported by the ABC and The Guardian indicate internal doubts at BHP about its ability to meet net zero targets, citing delays in rolling out renewables and electrifying trucks and trains in the Pilbara. The story is likely to sharpen scrutiny of corporate climate plans, transition timelines, and the credibility of emissions pathways in heavy industry. On the opposition, the coalition is reporting internal anxiety over opposition leader Angus Taylor's proposal to ban welfare for permanent residents, with concerns about the policies, design and political risk. Finally, locally in Queensland, a man has died after a shark attack at Tully Heads while spearfishing, and police continue to examine the disappearance of Jack McLennan, with his former girlfriend describing fears for her safety amid rumors surrounding the case.